Hey guys, sorry for the delay and getting another video posted. Just been working away at the day job versus this hobby of mine, but in any event, here we are. So I've managed to do some cable management. Can't say I'm unhappy with this. There's an awful lot of cables in here to manage through, and trying to fit everything in and not interrupt airflow. There's just a lot to kind of take into consideration, so you can kind of I'll get a closer look in here as to what I've done. The one thing that's kind of sitting out here waiting for me to deal with, and I have to now figure that out, it's the last little piece, is this 24 pin that's been jumpered is to just operate the water cooling loop and the fans. So that entire piece is going bye-bye as soon as I wire that in appropriately, because the Seasonic X 400 watt is going to power all the fans, water cooling, kind of the ancillary things, and then the Enermax Evo Galaxy 1250 watt is powering everything else. Got the another SSD holder, so if you can kind of see, I think you might be able to. So the top one, that's actually my wife's SSD. That's where she keeps all of her stuff. Underneath there is a Patriot Wildfire. Then the two below, as you probably, if you recall from the previous videos, are two 510 SSD, Intel 510 SSDs. And then the bottom is a 2 terabyte storage drive to hold all the mass storage and whatnot. I mean, you know, it's probably not my best cable management job ever, but considering I've got north of 30 fans in this computer, plus all of the two power supplies with their connections, and then just that alone with connecting all those SSDs and that hard drive. I've even got 3 more SSDs that I'm trying to figure out how to connect. The board only has 2 or 4 SATA 6 gigabit per second ports for its connections, the SATA connections, and I've actually got more than that. So in total I'm stuck with 8, and right now you're looking at 7 that are being used in total. 6 SSDs and then the two terabytes. So I'm gonna have to give that a little bit of thought, but I don't know, I'm a bit happier about that look other than the last video I shot where I had that giant mess of cables. I mean, it's not hard to see what I did. You can kind of tell, where is it? Yeah, you can kind of see. All those black wires there, those are all the fans, and I've run them behind this entire hard drive SSD holder setup, so you don't see them back there. Other thing that I ordered and I got, which I'm very happy about, is on the left hand side here, these mesh grills for fans. So originally they were solid and didn't really have the fans attached to them, and I just thought, you know, why not? I kind of like the look of it, and looking for some air exhaustion anyway. So I mean, haven't changed much of anything. Still got the USB 3s and the Lambtron touches. This 5.25 inch bay is going to be reserved for future use. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm thinking it's going to be a card reader, but I'm not 100% sure yet. We're just kind of got to go with what I can kind of imagine, I guess. This is an extra mesh covered fan holder that I got. Actually, I bought one more just in case, and actually next to it is the other SSD drive, or SSD holder for the drives, in the event I can figure out how to put more SSDs in this bloody thing. So anyway, that's kind of that. I also found this. This isn't going to mean much to anybody else, but I had lost this, and what this is this little guy here. It's this one that goes in here, and I popped it out to put my front USB 3 setup to kind of plumb it through the back, and I had lost this to kind of put in here, so I'm going to drill a little hole in here and fish that wire through. it doesn't really, you know, it's not a big deal. I just thought it'd be something to kind of, you know, clean it up and make it look nice. Other than that, on the inside, not a whole lot has taken effect since the last video. The water cooling's running great. One of the things I did get is right there is the 250 mil, I think, reservoir. I actually got a 150 mil that I'm going to swap that out for, because if you notice, that 5.25 inch bay that I was saying reserved for future use is just sitting right there, running into the top of that reservoir. So the 150 mil will drop it down a couple inches, and then that'll really open that slot up for anything I want to do in future. The other thing I did is, I think I mentioned, I bought these shortened 5.25 inch bay adapters. They look way nicer than I could have done with my Dremel tool, as you could look through the previous videos and see. It was kind of embarrassing, actually, the job I had done. So not really happy about that. So they're installed there now, which I think looks you know, much better. Caselabs is a better manufacturer of case parts than I am. I just mod them a little bit at the best of my abilities. So that's sort of where that's at. The only thing I was going to kind of plug in is just to show you what the fan setting is set up now with all the new fans in the front and whatnot. So let me come around here and let's crank this sucker on. It better start. It did a minute ago when I tested it. There we go. So, I mean, as I said, I still have to deal with the this one jumpered cable for my water cooling loop, which I will do. I just have to determine exactly the best way to do that. That little gizmo there, this little plastic piece, I'm going to fit back there to make that all work well. And then, yeah. I mean, so there's kind of an overview of what it's going to look like. I mean, I think all the fans right now, because of the Lambtron touches, are spinning at about 40%, which I'm very happy with. 40%, I got to tell you, my ambient right now is up to about 27 or so, and the temperature readings coming out of the various programs I have installed are about 30-31. So I'm getting about 3 to 5 degrees Celsius delta on the temperatures with the fans at 40%. So I'm not happy with that at all. Under load, I'm getting up to, you know, anywhere from 15 to 18 degrees Celsius difference, depending on the program I'm running. We're talking like Prime 95 and various other benchmarks and just general gaming experience and whatnot. It seems to be about 15 to 18 degrees Celsius as a delta when the CPUs go under load. I mean, the 2590s are kicking out a lot of heat, and the 2600K is overclocked. And being on one giant loop, the temperature seems to be equalizing across the board without a whole lot of movement, and I kind of expected that by doing this. As I said before, I wasn't really sure how this was all going to work out when you talk about doing one giant loop of this many parts with this much with this hardware, I should say, that you know, it pumps out the juice. As soon as you overclock, you're going to start hitting the heat, and you know, that's the reality. But I'm pretty happy with it so far. There's a couple other parts that are coming, and that's part and part why the reason that I haven't really done a lot of I haven't done a video in a week or two. I think it's actually been 2 weeks, my bad. Because I did order the coolants. I can't remember the model number is failing me, but essentially it's going to give me the it's a flow rate monitor. The software for the flow rate monitor and the flow rate monitors themselves, the connections that tell you how much flow you're getting in the pipes, I'm kind of curious because, like I said, these are two MCP 655s, but it's a big loop we have here, or I have here. You know, it's going out of that reservoir to the pumps, which are in serial mode, to another radiator, out of the radiator, down to the CPU, CPU radiator, radiator, motherboard block, GPU block, radiator, back to reservoir. So I'm not sure how that's all going to turn out, but I'm going to give it a shot. And I was told by the UPS folks who are delivering me my coolants parts that I should get them in the next day or so. So once I do, I will install them and install the software and get a better idea of kind of what the flow rate is of this rig. I'm really curious. I got a lot of questions actually on what my thoughts were on doing this giant size loop, and I got to say I'm not fussed at all about doing one big loop anymore. I was really concerned that I was going to go overkill with one big loop like this, but the temperatures I'm getting, that's just a telltale sign to me that things seem to be working out just fine. I didn't get much better temperatures on my Crossfire 5970 setup, which were like super hot cards, especially if you overclock them. And you know, the temps on these ones are not that bad at all. They're actually pretty consistent with that. And on my previous 5970 Crossfire build, I had each card on an independent triple rad water loop. So I had 3 water loops in my Mountain Mods case at that point in time. And this is giving me comparable temperatures, and this is just one giant loop. So anyway, I'll stop yammering on right now and get back to kind of cleaning things up, but thought I would throw this out there. Man, that's just a lot of fans. I think at the end of the day, I'm looking at 35 or 36 fans. But at 40%, because these fans kind of power down, when you power down the RPMs, the lights power down too. So it kind of goes hand in hand with being overtly bright. But when I juice them up to 100% in the fans, which, to be honest, given the radiators in the system and the water cooling loop don't really help me all that much with cooling. But in any event, it gets pretty darn bright. So anyway, I'm gonna end this here now, and when I get the coolant stuff in the mail in the next day or two, I'm gonna throw that in the system, and then I'm gonna tie up all these little loose ends, as I mentioned. You know, the various little bit of cabling left to do, and fix up that plastic piece, and then you know, we'll kind of go from there. So anyways, talk to you later, fellas. Bye for now.